Good morning and welcome. I want to say good morning to the Dutch viewers right now and good afternoon to the viewers from Indonesia, because today is a beautiful day. So I want to address everybody personally. Today we will celebrate the 50th year anniversary of het Erasmus Huis. And it's a moment to celebrate, so I started off this day with cake. I don't know if you have done the same. If you did not, definitely do so. This program this morning was created by the Dutch Embassy in Jakarta and also Dutch culture. And if we look at the program, we will take a dive into the history of Erasmus Huis, talking with different institutes, artists about the different collaborations they had with het Erasmus Huis, and there will also be performances during this live stream. In a short second, we will look at a video compilation just to see what the venue looked like. But before that, I want to say once again, good morning. My name is Shai Kreuger, and I'm the moderator of this event. In a couple of minutes, you will see a testimonial, one by the Dutch Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Blok, followed by a testimonial by Minister of Education and Culture, Indonesian minister, and I'm talking about Mr. Makarim. But before that, a video compilation in which we look into the history when it comes to sometimes it's difficult to explain stuff in a language that is not your first language, but I got this. We're gonna look at an impression, that is the word. A video impression when it comes to the venue and also the values and program that all come from het Erasmus Huis. So let's take a look.
Selamat datang di Erasmus Huis. Welcome. This is the place where curiosity meets inspiration and creativity. This is the place where Indonesian artists meet Dutch artists and where artists meet their audience. So, come inside. Erasmus Huis is the Dutch cultural center in the middle of Jakarta. It's a pearl of creativity on the compound of the Netherlands Embassy, and it's unique in the world because it's the only Dutch cultural center abroad. The Erasmus Huis was established in 1970 to strengthen the relationship between the Netherlands and Indonesia through arts and culture. And that's what we, more than 50 years later, still do, building bridges between these two countries. We bring together Dutch and Indonesian performers, designers, experts, thinkers to exchange ideas. Many creative things happen when creative minds meet. The Erasmus Huis is named after the famous Dutch philosopher Desiderius Erasmus, and he stretched the importance of tolerance, respect and honesty. These are the base values of the Erasmus Huis. The Erasmus Huis started 50 years ago with books. Nowadays, the library is a place where people have access to literature and feeling at ease in the interior of beautiful Dutch design. Many young Indonesians come here to meet people and to get inspired. Auditorium means literally room where you can listen, but it's far more than that. It's a concert hall, a theater, a cinema, a conference room and a club. It's a black box with a stage and 320 seats. But if we take them out, we can host 600 people here. The Erasmus Huis is a lively and vibrant spot in Kuningan, Jakarta. Easy to reach, modern, inspiring, cool, clean, safe, and most important, gezellig, as the Dutch say. A place where everybody is welcome, is respected regardless of gender, preferences or philosophy of life. Erasmus Huis is a place where you feel at home immediately. You want to know what's going on here? Please follow us on our social media channels.
A short video compilation just so you can get
Ladies and gentlemen, what a shame it is that it isn't possible for us to meet in person today. Only last March I was at the Erasmus Huis myself, together with our King and Queen. I was able to admire the photo exhibition Innovation, which featured the work of young Indonesian photographers. We also attended the Permata Photojournalist Grant exhibition, where I spoke to the exhibiting photographers. When you find yourself inside the Erasmus Huis, you get a keen sense of what an important position it occupies. What began in 1970 as a small library for those in search of Dutch reading material is now one of Jakarta's leading cultural centers. In fact, I understand that in Jakarta you have to explain to taxi drivers that the Dutch embassy is next door to the Erasmus Huis rather than the other way around. That's how well known it has become. Welcoming around 45,000 visitors a year, before the pandemic hit at least. All those visitors are people who in one way or another are interested in the Netherlands or Dutch culture. So to me, the Erasmus Huis offers a highly effective way of helping people connect through culture. Jolanda Melsert, director of the Erasmus Huis, expressed this process of cultural diplomacy perfectly on the website of the ANV, an organization that promotes the preservation of Dutch and Flemish language and culture. She wrote, "Whereas economic and political diplomacy usually strive towards an ultimate goal, in the case of cultural diplomacy, the process itself is the goal. The meeting, the sharing, the recognition. And whereas the Netherlands has a tendency to look to the past, to dwell on its achievements, and these days, to lick the wounds of its colonial past, Indonesia looks ahead. It wants to learn, to gain experience, and to take the country and its people forward. And the two nations meet in the middle," she said. The Netherlands needs Indonesia in order to come to terms with its past. And Indonesia is embracing Dutch knowledge and experience in order to move forward. And there is a great truth in these words. And I truly believe that cultural diplomacy allows people to build a future together. Because culture helps you to get to know each other, to understand each other, to share experiences. That, for example, is one reason why the Erasmus Huis has, for several years now, collaborated with the 100% Manusa Film Festival, which focuses on films about human rights, diversity, gender, and HIV/AIDS. Or take the interactive dance performance by Aya Dance, entitled Veil, in which a Muslim girl faces a terrible dilemma when she falls for both a Muslim boy and a Western boy. Who will she choose? What consequences will she face? The audience gets to choose from 4 different scenarios, deciding the end of the show. And to some people this may seem trivial, but it's precisely through performances that move us, through incredible music, great films, and powerful exhibitions, that we come into contact with other people, other cultures, other ideas, and other feelings and needs. And that in turn creates more mutual understanding. We gain insight into other people's lives. And as a result, we get a more nuanced view of them. Because we learn about other people's hopes and fears, about the threats they face, and about the dreams they cherish, just like anyone else. That's why it's so great, even at a time when everything is closed, people at home can stay tuned in to what's happening at the Erasmus Huis. In fact, it may well be attracting even more people than usual. In a recent Zoom show, for example, we saw a joint performance by the Dutch duo Ciao Lucifer and the Indonesian duo Bottle Smoker, each broadcasting from their own studios to the Erasmus Huis YouTube channel. In this way, the collaboration between the Netherlands and Indonesia goes on as before. We continue supporting the cultural sector in both countries. And we reach a great many people, from Sabang to Merauke and beyond. So today we can rightly celebrate a glorious anniversary, 50 years of the Erasmus Huis. And here's to the next 50 years. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In 1970, Erasmus Huis was opened to strengthen bilateral relations between Indonesia and the Netherlands. 50 years after its establishment, Erasmus Huis has become a vibrant cultural center in Indonesia. It has provided a space where arts and culture, both of Dutch and Indonesian, can flourish. A hub where artists can collaborate and people can learn from each other. While at the same time, Erasmus Huis also facilitates knowledge and process of learning for both the Dutch and the Indonesians. Through Erasmus Huis, various collaborations in the culture and arts sector have been initiated and conducted in either Indonesia or the Netherlands. We've exchanged ideas and values through a variety of events, particularly through performances, exhibitions, film screenings, and other artistic endeavors. All of these successful collaborations demonstrate that the Dutch Cultural Center in Indonesia, Erasmus Huis, has played a significant role in promoting cultural diplomacy between the two countries. I personally believe that arts, literature, and culture are extremely important to the relationship between nations, and most importantly, between its people. The best way, and sometimes the fastest way, to connect with each other is through the exchange of ideas, information, values, and perspectives that foster mutual understanding and mutual creativity. Therefore, the role of Erasmus Huis in Indonesia is important as a pillar of good relations between the two countries. Thus, in this occasion, allow me to congratulate Erasmus Huis for its 50th anniversary in Indonesia. Truly amazing. We are certainly looking forward to collaborate in future projects, exhibitions, and programs for the next 50 years. Gefeliciteerd met uw jubileum Erasmus Huis. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I think we have a very clear view as what it is that Erasmus Huis does in different segments. Right now, joining me for a conversation is Emiel Landman, an artist who has worked together with the Erasmus Huis twice. And right now, we're going to look at one musical collaboration on his name together with Vero Aldeniza and also PCMS, Children Choir. This is Shoulder. Let's listen.
You've got your mind on the business, your eyes on the prize. Focus on fortunes, it's all that you count. Little you know that there was someone out there for you, but maybe on weekends, or maybe pretend. I'll give you a call right when this week does end. Lean against my shoulder, we'll hide into our blankets. No, we ain't gonna go nowhere tonight. Baby, there is nothing that comes out here and hurts us, but just in case I'll hold your knee. Don't be scared, our fortress holds our monsters and the gold. It's 6 in the morning, there's rain on my face. Cars crashing by me, I'm part of this craze. The news has been ugly, there's been so many things gone wrong, like marches in Paris and a dog in a well. Bombs flying over and a gymnast that fell. Lean against my shoulder, hide into our blankets. No, we ain't gonna go nowhere tonight. Baby, there is nothing that comes out here and hurts us, but just in case I'll hold your knee. And don't be scared, our fortress holds our monsters and thunderstorms. Don't be scared, our fortress holds our monsters and the cold. Lean against my shoulder, hide into our blankets. No, we ain't gonna go nowhere tonight. Baby, there is nothing that comes out here and hurts us, but just in case I'll hold you near. Lean against my shoulder, we'll hide into our blankets. No, we ain't gonna go nowhere tonight. Baby, there is nothing that comes out here and hurts us, but just in case I'll hold you near. Just in case I'll hold you near.
Shoulder, shoulder, and the man that we just saw on the video with his guitar and his headphones on is you, Emil Landman. Looking at this video and seeing the kids sing immediately gave me a smile on my face. Let me see what happens to Minister Engelshoven, who is joining us right now via live connection. Minister Education, Culture and Science. Did you also get a smile on your face while listening and looking at the video?
Yes, and especially when you look at and see what music and sing the song does with children when they are able to sing together, it's put a big smile on my face. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Emil, I hear you say shoulder. I immediately think about a shoulder to lean on, but it's too easy when it comes to this song. Could you tell us what the song is about and what inspired you?
Yeah, so I wanted to write a song from two perspectives. From one, like, I'm getting older and I'm getting to manifest myself in the world, but this also means that there's tragedies and there's, you know, like the process of the world and dealing with it. But there's also this sense when I get back home in the evening and I feel this sense of security and family and togetherness and safety, which really reminds me of how safe I always felt as a kid. So I wanted to take those two perspectives and make a chorus that would be the child's perspective of safety, and that's the lyrics about that. So it was, for me, it was very heartwarming to work with the choir and to have those lyrics actually being sang by all those voices.
Young voices, beautiful young kids.
Exactly.
How did this collaboration come about?
So when I was invited to go and play at the Erasmus Huis, we set up a couple of collaborations with all local artists. And the collaboration at Erasmus Huis was with the choir. So when the lockdown starts, we decided to do something digitally. So we continued on the first collaboration, and then we made new arrangements, especially for this song, and Pharaoh was great at making the arrangements. And everybody recorded themselves, so I was in my studio in Utrecht, and everybody was doing their own stuff, and we put it all together, and that's how we made this.
Yeah. And for the people wondering what your link with Indonesia is, can you please tell the audience that beautiful story you just told me about little Emil and his small guitar?
Yeah, so my across the street neighbors came from Indonesia, and they had a whole house full of guitars. So I would always go there, and they would always invite me in to have some snacks and some food and some drinks, and little Emil really liked snacks and foods and drinks. And
music.
And music, of course. Yeah. And so there was a lot of guitars laying around, and then there was this moment where, you know, I should really learn the blues, and we started making music, so I was always pretty much in their house, playing my first notes on the guitar. So.
Yes, getting inspired through music.
Oh, truly, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. To look at you, Minister, when it comes to the connection between the Netherlands and Indonesia, could you tell us what your connection with Indonesia is?
Well, of course, as a minister, we have ties in the field of culture and science in the long-standing relationship between the Netherlands and Indonesia. But for me personally, Indonesia is a very special country. My father was born there. When he doesn't live anymore, but when he was in the kitchen, you could smell Indonesia in our kitchen at home, and it always makes me long for to go back to Indonesia and smelled and see the beautiful country. So it's very
It's
very
very
personal
personal.
connection.
Yeah. And if we look at the connection, or actually I should say the interaction between these two countries, the Netherlands and Indonesia, what makes the connection interesting and unique when it comes to culture?
Well, the cooperation between Indonesia and the Netherlands in the field of culture, it's important. It's very diverse and it's very rich because what culture can do is it deepens our relationship. It allows us to have a conversation with different means and on a deeper level. It provides us with inspiration, knowledge, and we hope to continue to have a high quality relationship on the field of culture and arts. And it helps us in talent development. We just saw that, and I think it helps us. The relationship on the field of culture helps us to have any kind of discussion between our both countries, because culture opens up, provides us with perspective, and really deepens a relationship. And we had so many beautiful examples of a good cultural cooperation between the Netherlands and Indonesia. I think about the Sonsbeek manifestation a couple of years ago in collaboration with Ruang Grupa from Jakarta, but also the exhibition at Frame and Framed. So these cultural ties, well, we have to deepen them, provide a means of developing talent, but also to strengthen the ties between the Netherlands and Indonesia.
Yeah. Is this actually, what I wonder, is this, are the steps taken when it comes to culture and to have the interaction going on between the Netherlands and Indonesia? Is it a connection that is easy, or is it a connection that needs extra effort?
Well, if you want to do it right, it always needs extra effort, because if you really, if you want an exchange that is really rich, that is about talent development, is about a real cultural interaction, you need to put an effort in it, and so we must keep on doing that. And Erasmus Huis is a beautiful, provides a beautiful infrastructure to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, and I asked this question because if you look at the day that we're celebrating right now, 50-year anniversary, that means that there was a lot of heart and energy and strive put in this collaboration between the Netherlands and Indonesia, and specifically in this house, Erasmus Huis. And it's beautiful to see, because I think it's something that is looking at the difference between all the different cultures, but also look at the possibilities that you have within culture and music, for example. And then I'm going to look to you for a second, Emil. When it comes to the collaboration that you had with the Erasmus Huis, what did you take away from that?
It was super special to be able to connect with people there, to connect with artists there, to see their perspective on making music, and to really feel that it's such a universal language. We all feel it.
Yeah.
We all connect to it. It's the same wherever you go. And I've been fortunate enough to be part of this, and to really, at some moments of the time that I've spent there, really felt a deep connection to people around me and people all connecting to music in that one instance, where we maybe not speak the same language, but we strike a note and we're there, where everybody's in that one moment. Yeah. And I take away a couple of very special moments that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
You worked together with the Erasmus Huis twice now, and the latest collaboration was what we just saw in the music video. Is there anything else lined up?
Not as right now, but I'd be open to. These collaborations have always been very professional, and it's really cool that when there's an organization behind that has an infrastructure and that has experience, that you can really go a step further.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's very special.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And it's
cherish it.
awesome to see that also COVID did not stop you guys from still being able to make something and share that with us today and share that with the world.
And all credits to Erasmus Huis, because they were the one that came up with that idea, and everybody is down to make music always. So let's go.
Yeah, true, true. Minister Engelshoven, before I have to say thank you for your time, you two were supposed to travel to Jakarta and then COVID-19 hit. I can imagine that was something that hits hard, but also was there another way to still make it so that the session that you would have there would still stand tall?
Yes, well, we indeed planned a visit for the opening of the Winner Conference, where we have a cooperation in the field of education and science with Indonesia. And well, through the screen, we still had the conference. It was a very successful exchange in the field of science, because also in science we have a very good and fruitful cooperation with Indonesia. But I also planned a visit to the Erasmus Huis because, well, our collaboration in culture and creative industries is very important to me. It really brings us a lot. And what I believe in, that an infrastructure as the Erasmus Huis provides is, well, building on a real relationship in culture is not just flying back and forth and being there and go back, but really building on this relationship, working together on projects, just as Emile did, really discovering that in culture you have the same language and that you can share perspectives and look at issues in the world from, well, we have different perspectives, but in culture we can bring them together. And so for me it was, well, very hard not being able to visit the Erasmus Huis. Today we are there a little, and as soon as circumstances allowed, I hope to fly to Indonesia, visit Erasmus Huis, but also try to strengthen our cooperation there. But it was very worthwhile to have it online also, the conference. Yes.
Awesome. And it was very worthwhile right now too to have you online with us right now. So I want to thank you so much for your time and your input, Minister van Engelshoven. And also looking at you, Emile Landman, thank you so much for sharing with us your beautiful music and also the stories that you took from your trips and collaboration with Erasmus Huis. So thank you so much for that. Our live program is on to the next segment of this show, and that has all to do with a singer-songwriter, and her name is Annabel Laura. She was supposed to make a tour to Jakarta during Erasmus Huis for a live event, but of course that was not possible. What they did was they made a virtual tour by streaming a concert exclusively for the Erasmus Huis, and furthermore by performing as well for the Solo International Performing Arts Festival. And right now, we're going to go to a segment of that live concert. This song is called Mens zijn.
Hi, this is Annabel Laura for the SIPA Festival. I'm here with Bram Stadhouders on guitar. And we are also joined by Estu from Bandung. He will join with violin, and Agustian, and he will join with suling. And this is a song I wrote in Dutch, and it's called Mens zijn, which basically means being human. Ik laat mezelf gaan in de gedachtes van de dag en de verhalen in mijn hoofd. En dan weer zweef ik in het niets, geen idee, conclusie, iets. Mijn zijn lijkt wel verdoofd.
Dan zet ik mijn voeten in het gras. Mijn blote voeten voelen voor het eerst wat er altijd al was. Mijn adem laat me zijn in plaats van altijd maar weer woorden. En ik adem in en ik adem uit. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Met al mijn vreugd en al mijn pijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Met al mijn vreugd en al mijn pijn. Geboortedag. En ik weet niet welke dag ik sterven mag. En ook al weet ik dat ik ooit zal gaan, ik leef mijn leven juist dan maar vol en helemaal. Soms is een dag iets minder. En soms is een dag iets meer. Soms schreeuwt het leven hard en soms fluistert ze weer zacht. En ook al doet het voelen soms zoveel zeer. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Met al mijn vreugd en al mijn pijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Met al mijn vreugd en al mijn pijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn. Laat me maar gewoon weer mens zijn.
That was Mens Zijn, sung by Annabel Laura, and she was accompanied by Bram Stadhouders from the Netherlands and Estu Nyung and Agustian Supartiana. And just to translate the song real quick, Mens Zijn means being human. I'm not going to translate the whole of the song because sometimes artists, they have a different view when it comes to what it is that they want you to take away from it. What I took away from it, being human, is just staying as close as possible to who you are and what your first emotions are standing inside the world. Right now we have a live connection with Lambert Grijns. Good afternoon, Lambert.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Shay, good morning.
Good morning. Over here, it's good morning indeed. The Dutch ambassador joining us for a live connection right now. So I've spoken to Minister van Engelshoven about culture. We have heard the Minister Blok and also Minister Makarim talking about culture and what it can do when it comes to the Erasmus Huis. Right now, I want to talk to you about culture and what it can do for the both countries. Since when we look at culture, it's often seen as a connecting source.
Yeah, I think you're right, Shay, and thank you very much for raising that question because I think it's crucial to the Erasmus Huis. Greetings from Jakarta.
Thank you.
I think it has been said many times already by the ministers. It's clear that the Netherlands and Indonesia have a very special relationship. Think, for instance, at our political relations, which are quite strong, well reflected, illustrated by the visit of the King and the Queen last year, or think about the regular phone conversations between Prime Minister Rutte and President Jokowi, or our trade investment relations, the Netherlands being by far the biggest European investor to Indonesia. Of course, cultural, a very elaborate program, and the Minister van Engelshoven also mentioned our research and education cooperation. Now, I think the secret behind these relations are the people. So it's the people-to-people contacts which make our relations so special. At the embassy, we like to call that the soft power behind the relationship. Now, and in order to untap, to use to its full potential, that soft power, we need Erasmus Huis. The Erasmus Huis has been literally the meeting point, the platform where people from two countries can meet. And these are not only the, so to say, the older generation, people interested in Tempo Dulu, or people looking for the story of the grandparents or the parents, like also Minister van Engelshoven said, but it is especially the young people. We're always so impressed by the enormous interest from young people, the young generation in Indonesia for the modern Netherlands. If we organize a modern art exhibition or a modern dance performance.
And then, there you are.
Virtually,
okay. Yeah.
Virtually with young people. So it's the young people who are interested in what we are doing in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I also see in the Netherlands interest from young people to Indonesia.
Sure.
So it's a point of entry to the Netherlands, also for values where we sometimes meet, sometimes do not meet, like human rights or press freedom or LGBT issues, climate. It's a meeting point. And that's why Erasmus Huis is so important for our relationship. No one knows where I live, the Dutch embassy.
But everybody
no one
knows.
That.
Yeah.
But where I say I'm in the Erasmus Huis, oh, yes.
Everybody knows where you're at.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
very grateful, Erasmus Huis being 50 years old, but I think very much a platform for the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dutch Ambassador, for your live input here, Lambert Grijns. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Later on, we're also going to go live and direct towards the Erasmus Huis in Jakarta. And that's going to be a very special moment that we're also going to get introduced to the different employees working there right now. But that's later on. Right now, we're going to watch a short video of Permata photojournalist Grant. And it's going to be a clip of trainers training. And am I saying that correctly? I think so. A clip of Todd training the trainees. That's the correct sentence. It's going to give us an insight of the program and the meaning it had for the teachers. Let's watch.
Itu namanya reportase. Oke. Ayo ada yang berani yuk kakak temenin. Ayo. Ayo.
Kami berdiri memang atas prakarsa keresahan kami sebagai seorang jurnalis gitu, ingin mendidik anak-anak pesisir agar lebih maju, agar lebih berwawasan gitu.
most important is that people who have the skills and who are in this job and who have experience, that they give it to the new generation and help people to develop their skills. And that's how you build on a huge sector of good photographers who really can tell a story with their photos. This way of teaching is the way that builds the future, because if people are just sitting and listen, it's coming in there, but doing it's a different thing. So you have to practice your skills. So I think that's really important. That's why this program is such a good program. So we are supporting this because it's quite important that we keep on educating journalists, educating photographers, educating filmmakers, because you think it's important for democracy.
Program Training of Trainers atau TOT merupakan bagian dari Permata Photojournalist Grant. Selama ini, program ini berhasil menjangkau para peminat foto, pewarta foto, dan pendidik foto dari seluruh Indonesia. Harapan kami adalah bahwa peserta TOT bisa membawa program ini dan pengetahuan mereka kepada masyarakat yang lebih luas, sehingga para pendidik pewarta foto di Indonesia akan semakin kaya, ya, dan semakin berani dan semakin handal.
Kakak, kita ke bawah. Sekarang kamu muter ke bawah.
Dalam TOT terus terang itu tantangan banget ya dari segi pengajaran, karena yang datang di TOT itu dari berbagai latar belakang pendidikan fotografi ataupun pengajaran fotografi. Ada yang dari kampus, ada yang dari pendidikan alternatif, ada juga dari teman-teman yang punya inisiatif kegiatan mengajar. Menariknya di TOT mereka bisa saling belajar satu sama lain, karena di situ tiba-tiba bisa berkumpul bersama. Dari situ akhirnya mereka punya formula masing-masing. Dan menariknya, waduh ini bisa diterapkan di kampus deh, ini bisa diterapkan yang dari kampus bisa ditaruh di pendidikan alternatif. Nah, di situ changing experience ataupun pengalaman itu berlangsung. Rata-rata mereka sangat seneng ya dan berasa mendapat insight baru.
TOT baru tahu ternyata bagaimana mengajar yang benar itu susahnya minta ampun.
Itu sangat menyenangkan.
Mengajar itu memakan energi lebih banyak daripada kita memotret.
Keren banget, mentornya juga oke.
Push and pull, yaitu metode tarik dan dorong. Kenapa? Karena bagi saya itu mengingatkan saya saat kita membuka pintu swalayan. Kalau nggak ditarik, ya didorong. Dan terbukti efektif.
Mengajar itu susah-susah nggak gampang.
Tetap berkarya dan bergerak, salam cilukba.
There's a Chinese proverb that says, if you want to plan for a year, sow rice. If you want to plan for a decade, plant trees. But if you want to plan for a lifetime, you educate people. Now, there are many ways you can make an impact on the world, but there is no greater impact that you can make than spreading education and empowering people who will empower and teach people who in turn will empower and teach more. That's the reason why we believe in this program and we support this program.
Of trainees, we just watched the Permata Photojournalist Grant. Right now, joining me are 3 different men. And I think what is very interesting when it comes to the Erasmus Huis is actually all the different aspects of culture that they move within. So right now, joining me, Peter van Dongen. thank you for being here. Also, Mitchell Jacobs, great to have you, and Kadir van Lohuizen. This table right now is graphics, it is design, and it is photojournalism. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Photography, yes. To start off with the graphics and the novels, I'm going to look at you, Peter.
Yeah.
Your project in which you address the revolution in Indonesia.
Yeah.
If you could, you brought the books. You made a big footprint due to the collaboration that you had with Erasmus Huis when it comes to, can I call this a project?
Yeah, it's a project, of course.
Yeah.
I was there for the first time in 2005, and this is the Indonesian translation.
Yeah.
And was sponsored by the Erasmus Huis. I was there for an exhibition and the launching of this album.
Yeah.
The other one is already a reprint from from 1 year ago already.
Yeah, this is a reprint from a year ago. Yeah.
But to me, the Erasmus Huis, it's the first time I was there for my work, for this story about the Indonesian Dutch revolution. And I'm always known here in Holland as one kind of type with Indonesian heritage, like an Indo, Orang Indo, it's called. And mostly when I was as a tourist in Indonesia, I was a Bule or an Italian or a Spanish guy or a French guy. But now with this work, they recognize something in Indonesian side of me. So then I was the last brother suddenly.
Yeah.
And in a way, it touched me that I was recognized as someone of them, because normally you're always in between, right, as a half-blood.
Yeah.
So that was, for
feeling
me,
a sense of feeling at home.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah.
And if we look at the story that you're telling in these graphic novels, you're talking about the revolution of Indonesia, not a soft subject, and you were able to open the dialogue.
Yeah.
What is the importance of opening these dialogues through graphic novels?
Well, I think, especially for Indonesia, I mean, it's in a way I'm inspired by Tintin, and it looks like Tintin, and it's quite popular in Indonesia, Tintin.
Yeah.
And the way I draw, it appeals to Indonesian people, so it is kind of a window to reading their history as well, but from a different perspective, from my perspective as a Dutch Indonesian mixed person. And they were surprised to read things they never heard of, like the Bersiap.
And how, sorry, the Bersiap?
Yeah, the Bersiap, it's some kind of very violent period after the capitulation of Japan, 1945. Well, just maybe you can say it shortly as a back pay to the Dutch Indonesian, the Indos or the Dutch or the Chinese people. So it was a real slaughtery.
Yeah.
And that's something we don't know here either in Holland, but they don't know in Indonesia too. And I recognized it during my research.
Yeah.
So, for instance, that opens doors to people, journalists in Indonesia. So many, well, newspapers, they were really surprised that I gave interviews to them and told them about everything, about the black pages, but also about the good things as well. Not only just blaming somebody, it's just my perspective of what happened during the revolution.
Yeah, which made a big impact not only in Indonesia, but also here in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it was by then 2005 or 1989. And 98, still, well, untold. Nowadays, it's more open.
It's a more common conversation.
Yeah, 20 years ago, it was already written everywhere, but never as a comic.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
right.
I'm happy to have you here at my table, Peter. Kadir, I'm going to look at you. We just saw a video about the Permata photojournalist grant. You work together with het Erasmus Huis when it comes to the fellowship. Can you tell me what the goal was of this program?
Yeah, it was a whole program actually to train Indonesian photojournalists. So it was not only a contest, but it was a whole training program. For several years, I came every year to Jakarta for training, to train the people, to train the photojournalists. Very interesting because you could really see the difference when I came first and when I came the last time, because remarkably enough, Indonesian photojournalists, not like here or elsewhere, they're not freelance.
They're paid.
They paid. They are staff. They contract, which is great. Obviously, gives them a lot of security. But at the same time, it meant actually that they didn't really know how to visualize a story, how to tell a story in visuals.
Yeah.
So that program was focused on that to learn them and to teach them. And obviously, I'm a white Dutch photographer, but it's really the aim was to train them so that I don't have to do that work and have to come there.
And is it then to also tell their own creative story through the lens?
Definitely. Okay. So it was not just the news work, but it was really also to train them to look differently and to develop their own visual language. Yeah. Which obviously is important. It was important also because we had several sessions also with editors, because you can train them, but then if the magazines or newspapers are not giving you the space, then it's problematic. Yeah. But it was it was the training. It was the real how do you visually tell a story? How can you use more than just photography, also video, and how can you pitch? How can you pitch? How can you present yourself? Speak English as well, right? Because you want to appeal to an international audience, so your text, your captions need to be in English as well. So out of this, there was this fellowship developed, which meant that one photographer, either male or female, was selected every year to come to Amsterdam, to the Netherlands, for 2 weeks, for about 2 weeks, to work on a story in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Which was amazing, and I would mentor them. For many, it was the first time that they would be in the Netherlands or even out of the country. So, but it delivered some remarkable stories. I think we have a few images here.
They'll probably pop up in a second.
Yeah, they were suddenly pulled out of their comfort zone, right? So,
and what did that, in that whole program, so the goal being able to teach photographers to look at a story and tell a story, what would the add-on be, having them walk around in Amsterdam and seeing a different narrative? What did that do with the work?
I mean, part of the work you do is that you also have to feel insecure to produce good work. So to take people out of the comfort zone and to push them to actually, in a completely foreign country to them, to work here and to work in a relative short period of time, was, I think, really valuable. And if the ones who did the fellowship, they're very well known in Indonesia now. Yeah. So it really paid off. And in that sense, the Erasmus Huis has been instrumental because, I mean, they helped, and I think they really saw that this was an importance, because we are talking about freedom of the media as well.
Definitely.
And that's, as everywhere, but also in Indonesia, super important. And it was instrumental
to have that going on. Awesome. Thank you so much for the information. I'm going to look at you, Mitchell, for a second, and then I want to talk to you about the What If Lab exchange project. Sure. It is Dutch and Indonesian designers coming together, where sustainability and equality are very high when it comes to importance. Looking back at this project, let's start off. What was this project exactly? Indonesian designers and Dutch designers coming together, and what did you guys do?
Yeah, so it was a collaboration set up by the Erasmus Huis, Dutch Culture, Dutch Design Week, which is a design event here in the Netherlands, to see how we can use design as a means to connect both cultures and especially new generations. So they let Indonesian designers pitch ideas about how they want to develop sustainable solutions together with Dutch designers. So there were 5 designers selected in Indonesia, and then they chose different designers here in the Netherlands to connect with them. So it was a big collaboration overall. So they flew to the Netherlands, to the Dutch Design Week in 2018, to get to know our perspective on design and to collaborate, not only with me. I was connected to Darina about sustainable education, since I'm a designer on education innovation. But between all the 10 of us was a big learning and inspiration.
What had the biggest impact on you during this program, or maybe even afterwards?
Well, I focus a lot on design thinking. So design thinking is the way that you use your mind in the process. You can give it a different name, but that's a common name. And we use it a lot in the Netherlands and Europe to teach children how to think, how to do challenge-based education. But the same experience we had in Indonesia. So we went into the schools, public schools, private schools, and worked with the children through design. My Indonesian is very bad, so I just know a few words.
Mine is worse, so it's okay. Yeah.
But design was the means to connect with the kids, and we built sustainable solutions. How to keep their environment clean and safe, and how to give them the idea that they are responsible and also in charge of doing that. So didn't stay in the classroom, but we went there several days, and they came back and they used their families to build prototypes. So it was very inspiring to see what the role of design and design thinking could be the same here as there. That was great.
And maybe this is not a correct thought, so help me along. I was thinking when it comes to sustainability and equality, if you put the Netherlands next to Indonesia, you would have very different viewing points when it comes to these two subjects. Did that mean something within the making of the designs?
So sustainability is big, so it's not only about environment, but we mainly focused on the brain. So how can you have a sustainable mindset and do your role in the total of the context? And I think in the base, everyone who is willing to do something positive, they come together and they create together. So then there is no need to see a difference in perspective, but you create through the process, and then both perspectives actually inspire to come up with something new.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Having you three gentlemen sitting here right now, I'm wondering, all working together with Erasmus Huis within different artistic outlets, right? So we have a photo man going on, we have the graphic and novel man going on, and designers, all working together with the same institute. I wonder where it is that you guys find each other within these different projects, but still with the same heart when it comes to what you want the outcome to be. It's a very broad question. I'm aware of it.
I think when we were preparing, what I saw was all the projects were about connecting people through culture, through design. So knowledge exchange, equality. So going here to inspire, but also going to Jakarta, Indonesia to inspire. And that's what I saw between all the projects.
Yeah, because I forgot to mention my first exhibition in Erasmus Huis was together with a couple of Indonesian comic artists. So they brought also their fan base with them. So I met lots of Indonesian comic artists. So one of them, Sheila Rosuta Putri, she's from Jakarta. We had later on in Frankfurt, we had a talk show about Jakarta today, and then with Maram Kampast. And later on Europalia in Brussels, we had an exhibition together with our works to compare with Jakarta today of her works.
So actually collaborations and connections going on and different collaborations.
What you two have as well. And that's important because you're part of one global village, in fact. And as a comic artist, you're always on your own table. And then you connect with people on the other side of the world. And we are connected by roots as well. So that's the main thing for Erasmus Huis. To me, that's important.
I think it's important to, I think it was mentioned already, but how important culture is and how it can actually bring people together and unite. And I believe the Erasmus Huis is 50 years old, which is great. That's why we are here today. But it's probably the only Dutch cultural institution outside the Netherlands now. And I think this shows how important it is, not just for the Dutch and the Indonesian, but it's the collaboration and it's the mutual inspiration which really is such a necessity, especially at these times.
And probably not only the collaboration in that moment, but also actually what it is that you just said, Peter, what comes from it. So you were talking about some of the journalists you worked together with that became big names, so there's actually something coming out of it.
Right?
And
I mean, we're good friends, you know, we speak, we inspire each other. It's not that we've been in Jakarta or so and then it's over. It's not.
Certainly not.
It's the start.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful.
Awesome. Did you wanted to add something, Mitchell?
No, I think everything is said. What's the importance? And it's about making the stories, creating it, and then showing it. And then the physical location is, of course, what we can tangible see. But the entire process upfront and after is maybe more important and of value to all of the people involved.
Yeah,
and there's
thank you
one
so
thing
much.
I just would like to mention is the newspaper by then, when it was published, they asked this question: why is a foreigner, a boulet from Holland, making our story right, about the decolonization, the war crimes of the Dutch military, etc.? Why is a foreigner from far away, and why is there no Indonesian comic artist who made that story? Well, I don't have the answer, but it was a question that was touched me. Well, I never thought about that. Maybe there's a distance. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe this was the. I also believe in like kick-offs when it comes to you have to do something, you have to see something to be able to know that there is something out there that is also for you, or maybe you can ignite somebody else to do it. Gentlemen, Kadir, thank you so much for your time. Peter, you as well, thank you so much for your time. And Mitchell, thank you. Celebration 50 year Erasmus Huis. I'm getting a bigger smile by the second because the story that you guys are telling, and especially the energy that comes from the stories, I feel it. I hope you can feel it as well. Although you're sitting at home watching us via your laptop or whatever other way, I hope you're being touched. We already had 2 music segments in which we saw collaborations between, for example, Emiel Landman and Annabel. But right now we're going to go to a different collaboration with Erasmus Huis. We're going to go to a festival in Jakarta. Festival is called Nyago Jo Jazz. It's a difficult word. Let's watch and experience jazz.
Jazz itu latar belakang kulturalnya adalah kesetaraan, egalitarian, kemudian di situ ada interaksi-interaksi, care ya, jadi saling peduli, interaksi itu harus ada kepedulian kan. Nah, kemudian improvisasi, kemudian ujung-ujungnya adalah harmoni gitu. Jazz diselenggarakan dengan ala pesta rakyat, gotong royong kampung, nyatanya juga baik-baik saja gitu.
This is crazy. We had no idea what this was before we came here. We are shocked and thrilled. So we're very grateful and thankful for you guys for making this happen. And we feel the love, man. It's very sweet. Thank you.
New York jazz in the midst of rice fields in Jakarta. Beautiful to see. It is crazy. Right now, I have two gentlemen joining me here in The Hague, where we are situated, and I have two people joining me via a live link. To start off with you, Niels, we just saw you in the video. The man with the glasses on and the gray greenish jacket with the guitar.
That's me.
You played with the band Arp Freak on this festival. Just take me, just only looking at the video already, I can see how like mystical the experience could have been. But take me to that moment.
Well, we've played pretty much all over Europe. At that point in time, we hadn't played in Asia before, so we had no clue what to expect. And the entire tour that the Erasmus Huis put up for us was an experience that's still with us every day. And I'm not kidding. This is something that we talk about almost on a daily basis.
Yeah.
This made such a lasting impression. And the video that you just saw from New York Jazz, we had no clue what it was. We didn't know what to expect. It was actually in a village in the middle of a rice field. There was a stage set up. The audience was all around us, so in front of us, besides us, behind us. And this was magical. This was something else,
Yeah, great, awesome. I'm gonna go to Aji Wartono. Awesome that you can join us here via live connection. You are the board creative of the jazz festival, Nayoga Jazz. Okay, we have to talk about why you guys chose a village for the backdrop of this festival in the midst of rice fields. Because only stating that already tells you this is something different.
Yeah, okay. And Ngayak Jazz is held in the villages because we want to provide alternative of jazz festival or jazz performance. That is the less elite. Jazz in Indonesia, it's similar to the elite music. Yeah. But if Ngayak Jazz is held in the village, that is the less elite music. Yeah.
Did you say less elegant music? Elite, yes, less elite, yes.
Less elite. And in the villages where jazz music can be enjoyed by everyone for free, and regardless of age and gender, educational or social backgrounds and others, everyone can came to the festival and saw the festival.
Yeah.
And actually, there are the 392 villages in Yogyakarta, and we always consider that the villages and residents are potential for venue.
Yeah.
Also the audience and supporters, collaborators, and appreciators from the festival to performance. We also try to provide a new atmosphere every year because Ngayak Jazz every year is not stay in the one village, but moving to the other village.
Okay, so actually you hop around through different villages.
Yeah.
Yes, and why do you do that?
I don't know because in Ngayak Jazz there are the 7 board of creative and with the different background. Also the musician, also the event organizer, also the photographer, also the marketing communication, and we try to make the unique festival, the unique events that everyone can be appreciate the jazz music. Because it's unique.
It's so unique. Because I must say, if I think back to all the different festivals I've been through, a lot of different festivals, and putting this next to the video that was 1 minute and 30 seconds, I think, maybe 2 minutes that we just looked at, I think that everything that I went to here in the West was not as creative as that. And I think you, as a musician, you've seen a lot of different places as well when it comes to stages. And what I'm wondering is what is the input you get from the space that you are for the music that you're making?
I was just thinking, well, I have a sort of a definition for music. So in my opinion, music is sound, first of all, and emotion. And the sound part, of course, is something that we take care of as the band and technicians, not to forget about that. But the emotion part, that's an interaction with your environment, with your audience, with whatever happens to you during that day. So it's not just the hour that we are on stage, but also going to the festival. I mean, for instance, when we arrived, and this is something people in Indonesia are probably going to laugh at me for saying this, but when we arrived, it was like a very narrow path, pretty dark. It was filled with bikers, all waiting to go to the festival. It was a big traffic jam of bikes, and it was so not what we are used to. And I mean, we played a lot of places in Europe. We also played in Thailand, for instance. And like you said, most festivals, even in Thailand, what we saw, are so similar when it comes to, what's the standard for a festival in terms of stage and food and decoration. And this festival actually used this village, and you're sitting in the middle of nature, literally, with the bugs and everything around you. No, this is beautiful.
Yeah. I'm looking at Aji while you're talking, and he's smiling. So this is it's a good sign. I'm gonna go over to you, Koen Molenaar. You performed at a different festival, ArcJob. I saw some stuff online, and also this blew my mind away. Could you explain like what ArcJob is and how you experienced that moment?
A lot of stuff is the same as Niels already described, because we have been traveling actually also to Japan, but when arriving to Indonesia it was something different, of course, and because the stage is like Aji was saying, in different places. So ArcJob was very nice because it's in the middle of the city. It was just a very combination of different. There was photography. There were clothing, everything was there. And the other place we were playing was on the top of the volcano, actually, which had the same experience. You know, you have a long drive from the airport, and then all of a sudden the roads are getting smaller, you're getting on a bumpy ride, and then all of a sudden you're in some kind of paradise place, which turns in the evening in an amphitheater with lights and a lot of fire, and it was very cold, actually. So all of a sudden in Indonesia, you're like shivering, and people are sitting there with blankets, and it's almost a kind of sacred, holy place.
And how is that experience for you to perform at a festival which, if you look at what the rules and regulations are, let me call it rules and regulations, are that different from what you've known back home in the Netherlands?
In what kind of...
So the experience of performing there, when Niels was just saying about, you know, the ambience, it's not only music, but it's also the people and it's also the venue.
Of course, you get in the whole vibe is so different, so everybody is in a different state of mind, I think. So, it interacts, of course, with making the music and feeling the crowd and the food, not to forget all the food we had. We have to eat and eat and eat all the time.
I'm gonna look at you, Ignacia Nilu. Thank you as well for joining us via live connection. You are the curator of ArcJob Arts Festival. Could you tell me what are the elements that make this festival so unique?
Yeah, so we were started 2008, a long way before, with the name Jogja Art Fair. So it was intended to be the art fair, which is mainly the visual arts. And after 2 years, we changed the platform of the festival itself to be more wider into the name of ArtJob. And 2010, it was the beginning for us to envision the festival into more international with international lineup. And it's not only focused on the visual art, but also to the performances. And it's developed a lot, and but still we are basically focused with the exhibitionary programs, which is the main program of the ArtJob itself.
Mhm.
And then in the 3 years ago, we are think that the platform of the ArtJob itself has to be wider. So we would like to open ArtJob into the Festival of the Arts. So it's open for the many and diverse discipline of the art itself. It's not only visual art, but also performances, music, films, photograph for fashion,
Mhm.
and also the others experimental programs. So we
Yeah.
also focus between this also the laboratory for the young artists. So we have the open call, and also we have the awards for the young artists. And for that matter, we also have the residency program. So the ArtJob itself is not only the stage for the artists to presenting the artwork, but
Yeah.
this is also the festival for
And
artists,
and you said
for them who can.
sorry, you said
Sorry?
residence project, and I was wondering,
Residency.
yeah, I was wondering how does that look like?
So the idea of the residency programs mean how we can create the new studio or working space for artists in, outside of their own studio. Because when the artist is traveling and the artist has their process outside of their own zone, they will experience new thing and learn new thing. They will explore to adapt with the new cultures.
Yeah.
They learn the new language. They learn to work with the new people, and that's very good for the process.
Yeah.
Because that means can really elevate the creativity of their work as a whole.
Yeah. I'm wondering, and I'm going to look at you for 1 second, Aji. And actually you as well, Ignatia, because right now everything due to COVID has been stopped. I'm just wondering in which way that boosted your creativity to look at what an art festival looks like or what a jazz festival looks like.
Yeah, in this year, the Ngayog Jazz Festival is held via online, yeah, with we have not the in the stages, but the some artists and send me a video performance, and we play in the Ngayog Jazz website, and more people can saw the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's the challenge, yeah, because we must move the offline performance to the online performance. It's not easy, I think,
Yeah.
but it's a challenge to the make more creativity.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
make happen.
Yeah. And Ignatia, for you?
Yes. To us, what we would like to approach is the hybrid or mixed platforms, because we believe so instead of traveling this day, we can connect to each other via the Internet of Things. So this IoT technology is really the good tools or the strong machine for us to collaborate and meet each other with various platforms. And this is also the challenge for the artist to translate the possibility into the new mediums, because
Yeah,
doesn't mean how we can translate the artworks directly, everything to video or into photographs, which we can stream live, but also how they can see this method as the new method for them to create like digital art or video art, or they can create a lot of more interactive artwork through the internet or the other medium, which is this day is really much more supported by the technology, also science.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me via live connection, Aji and Ignacia. And then I want to look at you, Niels and Koen, real quick. You had the chance to experience this beautiful art festival and beautiful jazz festival. Is there anything that you could leave us with when it comes to, and I don't want to give you too much words as in telling you, oh, there should be a thank you, whatever. No, I want to know, like, what changed in you after having this experience on a more spiritual level, maybe?
We were, as a band, shocked by the intensity of the audience.
Intensity, awesome.
Yeah, how much they get into you, into the music.
Awesome.
Yeah, but also very open-minded. You know, usually here you're used to people who come specially for you to the venue. And now everybody went there for a band they didn't know. They come in and they open up, and then they will experience how they feel the music.
Awesome.
So that's really a great thing, actually. What
you
we took also.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Koen, for joining me, and Niels, thank you as well. Guys, let's give her a round of applause. We're going live to Jakarta right now, Erasmus Huis. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the director of the Erasmus Huis, Jolande Melsert. Hi, Jolande.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm taking this applause on behalf of the whole team, of
the
course.
The whole team and everybody we spoke to
and
today.
All the predecessors,
of course.
In whose footsteps we are right now after 15 years, because I'm only here for 2 years now. So.
Yeah, definitely. It was for everybody. First off, congratulations. You are right now sitting in the Erasmus Huis in Jakarta, so that's a beautiful spot to sit for us to talk to you. We have had great insights when it comes to the Erasmus Huis due to performances and talks I just had. I would want to ask you to add on to the question, what is the unique selling point of the Erasmus Huis?
Well, I think you heard the stories, and so the history is the unique selling point at the moment. But I think it's a Dutch matchmaking pearl in Indonesia. I think that's the main thing, and we are unique in the world. There's no other cultural center like the Erasmus Huis. So we are very lucky. We are on the compound of the embassy. So that makes it also very nice in a protective environment where we can be a safe haven to invite our guests and show what we want to show as Dutch. And I think culture, well, it has been said, I'm only repeating it now. I think arts and culture plays a very important role in connecting people. And the word cooperation and connection, nearly everybody
used that.
The last hour talked about this. And I think that's the most important that we can do. And it's a beautiful designed venue right now, because since 2018 it's refurnished. It's all Dutch design here. I'm sitting in the library. It's a pity that you can't all be here, but we'll open one day. We have a beautiful exhibition hall and an auditorium theater. So it's really unique. We can invite really people. So we can invite people here to connect. And I think what's also very important is that we work sustainable. It's nearly a fashion word nowadays, but I think the 50 years of Erasmus is working on sustainable relationship between the Netherlands and Indonesia.
Yeah, awesome.
So, and if I may go on.
Well, I know, so I'm looking at the time, that's one, because we still have a beautiful live performance waiting so that we can close off this day. And I know that you have employees there that you want to introduce us to. So I would want to ask you to take us to all the beautiful people working there, making the Erasmus Huis what it is.
That's what I wanted to add. It's of course it's all the working of the people. It's the artists that come here. It's the audience that comes here. It's the press that help us to expose. But it's also the staff that's working at the Erasmus Huis. And since it is a venue of the embassy, it's the expats that fly in and out. They are around 4 years here, but it's mainly the local staff. And some of them are working for a very long time here, and they know the artists, and the artists know them. And so the first one I want to mention is the woman that works here the longest, and that is Rina. Rina's working here in the library, and she's working here for
oh, yes, we have everybody on screen. Rina, wave to us. Wave, Rina. Yes, awesome. Go on, Yolanda.
Okay, then we have, after this, we have the technicians. That's Gideon and Sugi and Danny. And
Gideon, Sugi, and
Gideon
Danny.
is working for 25 years already here, and he's the one that's make fun of everything and is joking. So I want to ask him about the bloopers that are in Danny. Gideon, can you tell something about the bloopers?
Okay, the bloopers is that usually Erasmus Huis is a venue for a film festival, and in the I don't know, maybe in the early 2000s, we still use the 35mm projector. One time, the projector has a difficulty with the rubber that contains from the one can to the second can. And the rubber was broke, and I have to help with a marker and then put in the can and help them to dry, to make the movie goes. So the rubber is broke, so I have to help with the marker, put it in the can, and then slowly. If I'm going too slowly, the movie will be like
yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
If it's going too fast, it will be like a Charlie Chaplin movie.
Yeah.
In the time. So that's the blooper.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the success stories, we have these stories as well, but we keep them if you visit us. And then we have, of course, Joyce Nijssen, who is also one of the experts here, and she is the manager of the Erasmus Huis and the big organizer of everybody. And I think all the artists know her at least the last 4 years since she's working here. Then we have Suni and Bob, the project managers, and I think yes, I see Koen nodding. Suni was with Koen and Tristan to the Bromo and to Jogja, and Bob also works as a project manager. Bob, what is the nicest thing for you to work at the Erasmus Huis?
Yeah, because it's a challenging when the artists coming to Indonesia, when we have to fulfill the requirement that artists need, and sometimes the venue cannot accommodate. That is like a challenge. We go to the certain place and we bring the artists. Like my experience when I bring Water Bergenhausen to Banda Aceh, but I searched to the whole places, they don't have one, and at the end I found the piano from the wedding organizer that has not been used for 10 years. And then we have to bring the piano tuner from another city to tune the whole day the piano, but thanks to the professionalism of Water, he can make a very good sound, and he can please everybody. What I like this, I like to see this not as a problem, but as a challenge that I just want to bring to another city and make people happy, entertain them, and also at the same time give a meaningful cultural interaction between the Dutch artists and Indonesian artists.
Awesome, thank you.
Suni, you're also one of the project managers and tour managers of the artist. What makes you feel happy at Erasmus Huis?
Yes, what makes me feel happy at the Erasmus Huis. For me, 50 years Erasmus Huis means building bridges between two worlds, the Indonesian artist and the Dutch artist, and creating a better and mutual understanding through art and culture. That's really, really so important to create a better world also, so everybody can understand each other, but then through art and culture. And the work that I do is so, I feel so grateful to be part of the Erasmus Huis team, because it's really unique in the world. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Suki. Yolanda, we really have 30 seconds left, so I'm going to ask you to call everybody by name so that we can see them, and then I have to thank you, and then we have a beautiful performance for you guys, actually.
Yes, I will do this. We have Fadila. We call her
Fadila.
Fadila.
Yes.
She is the one that organizes everything in the team. We have Shaula, policy staff, and she's doing financial things and helping translating a lot and helping everybody out. We have Andri and Oxales working at the communication part of it, social media, press, design. And we have Jeff and Marlene, our policy staff, working. So it's a big team.
It's
15.
a big team. And it's a very animated team. I can see that you all, I mean, the one man let us laugh, and you guys are very inventive as well. I want to thank you guys so much. When I started the conversation with Yolanda, I gave her the applause, but of course the applause was meant for all of you guys and everybody that went before you, of course, because 50 years Erasmus Huis, that is something to be very proud of. So thank you so much for being able to be part of this program today. Thank you. We have something beautiful. It is a performance. When I came in early this morning, I heard the sound check, and it was amazingly beautiful. So in a second, I'm going to give the floor to Kiki Sprangers and Prinalo. But before that, I want to tell you guys that I am very much inspired by all the beautiful stories that I heard today, by the beautiful position that the Erasmus Huis takes in when it comes to this collaboration between the Netherlands and Indonesia. It is something to be proud of. My name is Shai Kreuger, and I'm proud of being asked to moderate this event. Right now, I want to ask you to put the sound bar of your TV or laptop a lot louder, because it's time to enjoy Kika Sprangers and Pinarello. Enjoy the day, be happy. Bye.